Hello, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, g'day, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. Good morning, or good evening to you. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Good. So
Is
good morning for you.
Yeah, the image looks great. The sound's coming through nice and clear, so yeah, should be great. Should be good. And are
Yeah,
you happy?
cool.
Are you happy doing it there? Because we might be some time. So make sure that you've got yourself a drink just in case you need it. Make sure that you're comfy, like that. You know that you're in a good position.
Yep.
So yeah, that's those are the only tips I can give you. The lighting looks great as well.
Yeah, it's
Are you far from the sea?
no, that's the ocean that right there.
That's amazing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, sort of good for the soul.
Yeah.
I keep doing this,
Yeah.
thinking,
How does it feel? Does it feel like not like soft or like just totally weird?
well, it was soft straight after I shaved it, but it's actually gone like about 2 millimeters long already. So it's coming back
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. It won't know what's hit it.
Right. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
sandpaper already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm growing this out. So see how I go. Did you ever dye your beard?
No, no,
No,
no, never.
no. Sometimes
No,
I
I'm
dye
sort of
mine
not.
because if I dye it, it like covers this part up here and makes it look a bit thicker. But I've started to get all these greys coming through now because I'm heading up to 40. Um, so
I'm
yeah,
43. Let the greys go through, mate. I really love the I
yeah,
love the greys and all the different colours, and it's all character building, and it makes you who you are, you know. So
yeah.
I am even looking forward to my hair going grey. So I'm going old gracefully. I'm 43 too. So
Yeah, there's
yeah,
some good looking guys on the Instagram with the massive grey beards and grey hair, and like I've got nothing going on up there, but yeah, I think
mate.
I will go for a grey beard eventually.
Don't worry, mate. A good beard and a bald head, they just go hand in hand too.
Yeah,
So I've got
yeah,
a big receiving line going back there with my hair, and one day it's either going to be, undercut or shaved bald. I'm sure. So
yeah,
it's all about growing old gracefully and but not, you know, keeping keeping a mental note that you don't actually have to mentally grow old. It's how you make it
yeah.
and
So
accepting in the way you are.
what do you do for a living?
At the moment, I'm studying individual disability support at TAFE.
Okay.
And so I do, work placement at some places locally because it's a requirement to do 120 hours work placement, like get
Yeah,
experience. So mental health and disability is pretty close to me. So my brother's Down syndrome, and I've suffered depression myself, and
yeah,
so I thought, I'm a tradesman background. I'm sheet metal fabrication engineer and boilermaker, both trades and welding. So, I sort of just got over all that and flying around in the mines and construction, and I wanted to find purpose. So, after my depression, being in the dark for so many years, it sort of helped me change my life and focus in a new direction. And when I was with James at the barbershop, we built this friendship because we both understood depression and how crap it was. And, so we started this journey together with the barbershop. And, well, he started it, and I sort of, just helped, with different beard products, and he picked, what suited him.
yeah.
And then we just created this little brotherhood, you know.
It's really important, especially when you're going through something and when like sometimes there can be no cause like for depression, and sometimes it can be based on something in the past that maybe you've not dealt with, or something that you're just going through at the time. And then to have friendships like that where you can build something together, and then where you can reflect and think what is it that I'm doing? Is this job serving me? Like, should I try and give back, or, you know, help other people who are feeling the same way that I am? You know, it's important to build those friendships. So yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And, you know, even though you try and be there for everyone, you know, it's sometimes you just can't get through, you know, and
Yeah.
what's left behind, you know, still needs that support. So we're all about, there's so many different bearded brotherhoods and stuff out there, and different types of brotherhoods, and you know, groups and charity groups and all that sort of stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, it's about still having their back when they're gone, and, you know, and their family and their kids, and that's what we're doing. And yeah, and I'll tell you, like, the support has just been amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people all over the world who've probably been touched by similar situations. So when they, what really hit me was, you know, the picture that I used for the social media yesterday.
Yeah.
That was the picture that caught me about, was it maybe a week or two ago, and I thought, I looked, I was just scrolling through Instagram, and I was like, oh, well, what's happened to what's happened to this guy? You know, because you could see, you know, the sadness in your face. I read the status. I was like, oh no, that's bad.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, that's a bad situation. I didn't fully understand what was going on at that point. And then as the days went on, and it became apparent what it was that you were dealing with, and then the when I saw you, you shaved your beard off, and you know, I was like, oh no, why has he done that? Because just for, you know, you just wanted to change, like, just to, you know, change the way you were feeling or something. And then I realized you did it for that cause, for the to raise money for your friend's family. I thought, bloody hell, like, you know, that's, you know, I need to reach out to this guy. So my first reaction was like, oh my God. And then I didn't know what your, you were like, oh mate, it's for a good cause. And I was like, oh no, dude, no, seriously. It wasn't how you looked. It was just
Yeah.
it was the shock, because I'd read that you'd had that beard for 25 years, and then
Oh no, I only had it for 4 years, I think.
4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, I grew it once before, but you know, and that was a good learning curve. So then, I don't know, through the depression, you know, it gave me a bit of focus, something to focus on, you know.
Yeah.
And
I find that.
I was pretty passionate about, you know, trying different beard products. So I spent a fortune. I don't show too many on my page, because I only sort of very selective on the products that I want to promote, because when I was starting off, you get so overwhelmed with review pages and, you know, try these products, and, you know, it's hard to find which ones really are amazing and good. And, you know, some review pages just have so many different products, and you don't know which one's good to choose. So I sort of just give honest feedback to the company.
Yeah.
And I test and try them properly. And so I don't promote those that I won't sort of allow on my page, and I'll give real honest feedback, and the companies love it, because they know that it's honest and that's in detail too. So the products that I do promote are really good, high quality, and it really does everything you need in a very unique way. And there's so many products out there that are probably good, or, you know, probably not so good, but they're the same sense, same boring, same, you know, like, and I'm really after that real high quality stuff. And, you know, some of the brands that I promote, I've been following them for years, and the customs, it's not just based on the products, it's based on the service and the quality, the postage, the prompt service, the support you get. So it's really based on the whole company itself, as well as the product. So, and I'm finding that can be really hard to find.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
have to, like, the whole ethos has to be there as well. You know, the quality and the brand and the service and everything.
yeah,
I found the beard struggle to be good. That was my first step into getting any sort of real beard maintenance products, and I thought there was an opportunity to get it, to get like their biggest package like 50% discounted, and I thought, right, well, that's quite a good discount. You know, I'm going to go all in and grow beard for a year and use those products.
yeah.
And they're really, they do smell really nice, and they are they're like kind of you know, pepperminty, and the wax and the oil, like it does feel like it, you know, it works well with the beard. But the shampoo and stuff, they when they arrive, the way they're photographed, it looks like you're getting, you know, a decent amount, but they're like this small, you know, because they're going to post them,
Yeah,
and you know, so that kind of thing is a little bit disappointing.
yeah.
But
Look, I've been following the beard struggle for years. I've
yeah,
never tried their. I've never ever tried their product, and mostly
I've got a
because
little
one of those.
brush that I
Yeah, they're
use.
cool.
Yeah, very
I
very
really,
nice. This has changed my life, this kind of brush.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really love their logo and you know, the Viking theme. Like, I'm a big Viking fan. Both sides of my family go way back to Viking, so you know, I've known since I was 8. You know, both sides of my family are, you know, the ancestors are Viking. You know, one side, mum's side settled in Scotland and dad's side settled in England, and there's a town in England called Roffey. And then both sides are convicts to Australia too. So, you know, there's a bit of blood there,
Yeah.
bit of history there. But so when I was fighting my depression, I went back to my my roots, and so when the beard struggle sort of started, I was following them for a long time, and I it's just been financially hard along the way, you know, buying stuff from overseas, and you know, that was the cost has come down a lot now,
Yeah.
but before it was quite very expensive. And to take that risk, I've taken that risk with so many companies, you know, spending a fortune, and their products really, some of them have been really bad and some of them have been good. But you know, so I sort of, with COVID and the bushfires that we had here, and you know, floods, and it's just been a real tough couple of years. So I just took a big step back and gone, right, I'm just going to not buy much. I'm just going to stick to the products at the moment that I really know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but it is on my card. I really want to try their products. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, they are good. They are good. So, with the bushfires, like I completely forgot about that, because over here we hear a lot about the California fires, but it wasn't that long ago that you had those massive fires over in Australia. Were you affected by that? Did it go anywhere near you, or the
Yeah,
smoke
well,
or anything?
right in the heart of it here, the skies were red and black, and like midday, you wouldn't even know, like, in the smoke. So a lot of houses here burnt down. You would have heard of Mogo, which is 10-minute drive out the road. There's Mogo Wildlife Park, you know, that was
Yeah.
close to the fires. That was, you know, there's so much around in Bateman's Bay here that literally a lot of houses burnt down, and a lot of devastation, and it still affects the town and the community. And you know, but it wasn't just that. It was, then there were floods, and then there was COVID, and then there were more floods, and then the COVID again. And it's just, you know, there's so many empty shops in town.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, yeah, it's
It,
just devastating.
it kind of feels like end of days or something, you know, when you've got
Yeah,
so many different things happening. I
yeah,
remember, like, here when COVID first happened, I worked very very close to my house, and it was like we got the word from the management that we were closing down the college, and I remember myself and my colleagues were kind of a bit panicked, a little bit frenzied. We were getting everything that we could because we were going to continue to teach from home instead of being in the college. So we were running around. We were like, "Oh, are we ever coming back? Like, I'm not sure. What should we take? Like, what should we nick?" Like, and we were getting a bit like agitated. And then I came home and I said to my wife, I was like, "Right, that's it, babe. We're gonna plow up the back garden. We're planting potatoes because we don't know what it's gonna be like out there. Like, it only takes 2 weeks of people not having food before things go absolutely mental." And so I was like in this frenzied state of like ready to defend like my house and my family. But luckily, the worst thing that happened was people just went mad for toilet roll, and
Oh,
they just went
that
crazy
was the
for it.
last thing I would have expected the Danny rolls to go, and it's still happening here now.
Is it?
Yeah, because Sydney's on big lockdown at the moment, so
Right.
there's another, there's another big breakout in New South Wales in Australia, and yes, it was only just last week. You just go and get your normal toiletries, and when it's ready, and then you go and there's literally nothing on the shelf. You scroll. Well, what's the world coming to?
I heard a guy.
Don't worry about food or anything. Just worried about toilet paper.
And really, if you manage it well, you don't even need toilet roll. You might have a bidet, or you might have like a hose or something. Like it's not the end of the world.
Mate, I grew up on 400 acres out at Burrawa along the Burra Cow Road, and if you're hunting or doing something and you really needed to go, then you'd have to rip a sleeve or a pocket off and do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
You can literally
I've been
scoot along the grass, do whatever you got to do.
Yeah. I've been caught short like once or twice when I was a kid. I lived out in the west of Ireland in a very small village called Kilshamore, right in County Mayo. And we would be off exploring the countryside, as kids every summer, because in Ireland you get roughly about 3 months off for summer. So here in the UK you get 6 weeks off, but over there you get like a few months. And so yeah, me and my younger brother would just be off, and couple of times, you're looking around for I don't know if you call them dock leaves in Australia, but the ones that you rub on if you get stung by nettles. So like they're quite big leaves. So you just grab a few of those or like lose the underwear for that day. The mum's like, "Where's your underwear gone?" "Oh, I don't know, Mum. It must be under the bed or something." And it's in a field somewhere buried. Yeah.
It's good to be able to laugh through these crazy times. What's it like over there where you are? Whereabouts are you?
So I'm based in Norfolk. I'm a couple of hours from London, or from Norwich or Peterborough, which are kind of bigger places. But I'm sort of in the sticks here. There's about 45,000 people in this town that I live in, which is that's quite small. And there's farmland all around. I've been here for about 2 years now, and yeah, it's not too bad. Like the people here are nice. So I didn't really go to the shops or anything when it was all kicking off. I let the wife do it. So I sent her out for provisions.
I'm not going to say anything. I'll leave that one be.
Yeah, I'll get slapped for that if she watches this later. But
is this one being recorded now? Is it?
Yeah, it's being recorded. We can edit it. I thought. We'll see how we go. We might make it to 5 o'clock for you. For your mate to dive in. So this way at least we've broken the ice a bit. And
well, just good to feel a bit comfortable before we officially start off, and so it's a good icebreaker. I'm a big fan of everyone doing their own thing, as long as it's not hurting anybody else, whether it be religion, culture, history, government, politics, whatever. Each to their own. Vegans, whatever, like do what you got to do and do
even
it well.
The vegans.
Like I eat meat. I grew up on a farm. I eat meat, but religion, whatever, you eat what you eat, you do what you do, as long as it's not harming and hurting anybody else. I'm open to, like, beard or no beard, whatever. It's just, I think if everyone just can be themselves and accept that everyone's different and everyone has a different history, a different past, but people are trying to move on or, try and keep what's close to them, and that's important to them. So, I don't see why we should be fighting that at all. Like, so, everyone around the world has their own story, and every individual has their own story and, their own beliefs. And sometimes those beliefs are the things that get us through the hard times. And, I think that's important. So, everyone should be entitled to believe what they want to believe and not get pushed and hassled or drummed. So, but that's me. That's my personal opinion. And so I try and stay out of it all, to be honest. To me, it's all just politics. And, so I'm all about acceptance and being able to, base everyone's. So in the disability side of things that I'm learning and mental health is, finding people's, it's not finding people, it's finding people's strengths and what makes them them, and how to make that better and stronger. And, so, it's not about their weaknesses or anything like that, or, what type of person they are. It's about finding their strengths and building on it and making something wonderful out of it. And so even the news, I don't watch the news because it's just depressing. Like, it makes it more depressing. The world's turned into this horrible, hard place to live, and it makes me worry. I've got young kids, and it worries me, what sort of, what they're going to grow into. So, it's about focusing on what you can control and what you can help, and try and make people blossom and not mock people for different things. Or, it's not about the negative side of things in any side of culture or religion or belief, or, like, so, I'm big on the keto diet. Like, I'm a low, so some people say keto is a high, high fat, low carb type, no sugar. But, I'm trying to keep it moderate with, cholesterol and, the low fats. And it's about clean eating. So, I eat my meat. I love it. If you don't eat it, good on you. Like, we raised sheep and cattle specifically for that purpose. So, that was our bread and butter. That put the food on our table, and the cropping, it's so much, growing wheat and oats and canola off the land and, putting it on the table and feeding it, putting it back to the stock. And, it's regeneration. And, so anyway, it's gone off a bit topic there, but,
it's fine.
I'm all about everyone just focusing on what they need to focus on and, doing a good job of what they do. And, the farming is a huge part of this earth, so.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, I completely relate to your outlook on life, and it's how I've always been as well. I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic all boys school and stuff like that, so that was kind of drummed into me. But over the years, as you grow up, you develop your own sort of philosophy and your own way to look at things. And my own personal viewpoint has never been to exclude anybody or judge people based on the color of their skin or who they are or what they believe. So because of that, I have a really varied friendship group that completely enriches my life, and I have friends like all over the world that I can go and visit and experience their different cultures and their different ways of life. So it's
exactly how it's do. Yeah,
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 there's loads of, you know, there's loads of benefits to understanding other people and not just shutting yourself off and being like closed-minded. And you know, there's benefits to being open to things.
yeah.
So
There's
yeah,
a
I
fella
was
in there's
sorry,
a
go on.
fella in there's a fella in Burrawa who does like regeneration, natural regeneration. Should check him out. But they do amazing stuff to regenerating, you know, the earth and how to maintain and yeah, there's a fair bit involved. Even my knowledge of it excels me. So, but he's probably one worth watching, following at the same time. You know, with you know, no chemicals and just natural regeneration and you know, healthy eating, healthy food. You know, they produce meat and stuff like that, sure, but you know that's what farming is about. But it's you know, using water wisely, regenerating everything that you can, that what's produced is going back into something and then it's regenerated again. So I find him very interesting to follow.
Yeah, there's a lot of obviously when farmers, you know, they're trying to produce, they're incentivized to produce as much sort of food as possible from the land that they have, because we need that, because there's loads of us, there's like 7 billion people or something, you know, on the planet, and you know, you need to make that food to fulfill that demand. But then you have have issues with the pollinators where, like for instance, if you and I, if we ate the exact same thing every single day, we get really bored. So there's a new theory that's coming out that, like, when the bees go out and they're faced with these 300-acre fields of the exact same thing, they're not incentivized or excited about taking the pollen from the exact same flower, you know, 300 acres worth. So where possible, if you could get back to having like a variety of different animals that all benefit a smaller plot, a smaller farm, and producing higher quality, better tasting food, both vegetables and animals, you know, because you have like the pigs and the chickens that like fertilize the, you know, the the through the forest and get rid of pests and stuff like that, and geese, like, you know, eat pests instead of using pesticides. So yeah, it's so complicated, and when you change one thing in nature, you don't fully understand the implication, the sort of the shockwave that you send throughout the ecosystem. But
Yeah.
you know, it's yeah, I'm hopeful for the future.
Look, even now, you know, the recycling here in Australia is huge. You know, cleaning, keeping the oceans and waters clean, and you know, I really like the way that's gone. There's so much waste in the ocean. You know, it's just this Earth needs to be looked after, and that's you know, needs to be done more
Yeah.
done globally, not just you know in certain countries, but you know we. I know Australia really works hard at regeneration and you know doing what's good for the earth.
I think a lot more people are getting switched onto it and realizing that, you know, all of these things, the floods that we have here, the fires and the floods that you have there, the fires in California, all this stuff is linked. Like, it's not, these are not isolated incidents, and you know, that's where the news can come in handy to, you know, identify the patterns like around the world. But yeah, when I sort of step out of the news as well, because if I get involved in it and start watching what's going on, because they only focus on what grabs attention, it is all negative. Like, and it's just, it's
Yeah,
highlighted, it's brought to the front, isn't it? Just like in Twitter, whatever's trending
yeah.
is generally the most controversial thing at the time.
And unfortunately, there's not enough positive. There's not enough encouragement. There's not enough. It's
Yeah.
a lot of it is negative, and that's you know, and it's not really good. People need to be lifted up.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
like
and
real
need
life
to be
is not.
supported.
Yeah, I was going to say real life, like the life that you and I experience is not like that. Like there's a massive difference between the digital world or the media versus real life. Like I can leave
Yeah.
my house now and be like, oh, all right, neighbor, like, you know, the guy across the road or the guy next door. You go about your day, you go to the park, you go do some shopping, hang out with your family. And life is generally, like, if you live in an all right area, if there's no major disasters or anything like that, life is generally pretty good. But when everything from around the world is synthesized into like a 30-minute segment of just, here you go, here's all this garbage that's
Yeah.
going on in the world, it's we're not built to take all of that in. You know, we can take in, you know, maybe one piece of bad news every couple of weeks or something like that, but not loads of pieces of bad news every single day, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
It's too much.
And it should be at least have a balance, you know, some good, some bad, you know, and then try and, you know, at the end of it, you know, walk away feeling good and not so miserable.
Yeah.
You know.
Welcome, Cybernaut Club members. Today we've got a very special guest. We have Roffey all the way from Australia, and we're here to talk about some, you know, some tough topics. So throughout this, if you feel uncomfortable at any point, just turn it off. That's okay. There will be links in the description in YouTube down below. If you need any support for any of the topics that we're talking about in today's podcast, feel free to, you know, pause, access those links, and get yourself some support and some help. So yeah, welcome, Roffey. All the way from Australia. We're you know, you're 9 hours ahead from me. I'm here in the UK, and you're down there in the beautiful, is it Boatman's Bay?
Bateman's Bay, yeah.
Boatman's Bay, beautiful. So so yeah, let's start with you know, the most obvious thing is you've got this beautiful, handsome face there, and you know, I'm here sporting this beard. that might be a good. You look.
I miss my
like
beard, mate. I miss
you
my
miss your
beard.
beard. Yeah, you look like a 12-year-old. So how did that come about? Come on, tell us.
Well, first of all, g'day, and thanks for the invite. I really appreciate it. So I had what I classed, I really had a lot of passion for my beard. I did a lot of work on my beard and I loved it. You know, it gave me a lot of focus because I, you know, struggled with depression myself. So, you know, and a bit lonely and something like, you know, it sort of gave me a bit of focus, you know. So I had the passion for trying new beard products and different products and, you know, trying to work out, you know, how the best way to maintain a good beard. And so put a lot of years and effort into, you know, just focusing on the beard. And in all honesty, it was enough, you know, and my kids to get me through some pretty tough times. So, and then all of a sudden, you know, started Instagram, and then there was this huge globally, like beards, different groups, bearded villains, bearded Vikings, like all different groups. And, you know, I found it was, you know, you had a beard and it was like there was this different sort of friendship and understanding and brotherhood or something like that just started happening. Like it was a bit crazy. And
Yeah.
well,
sorry, I was going to say it takes a lot to maintain it. It's not as simple as not doing something, and like it's not as simple as not shaving. Like there's more to it, and I think you know, when a guy grows a beard, it's like you said in a message that you sent me. It's like looking after a plant, isn't it? It's like looking after a house plant. There's a lot to it, and if you can keep that beard alive, just imagine, you know, if you ever have a guy with a beard come into your company looking for a job, and that beard is in good nick, you hire that guy because you know that he's going to get the job done. Like if he can maintain a decent beard, imagine what he can do for your accounts.
the amount of different stages you go through, you know, it takes a lot of patience, a lot of dedication and commitment to, you know, get a good long beard. So, you
and
know,
yours was amazing. Like it
Oh,
was,
thank you.
it was down here. Like you look like a Viking. You look straight out of Valhalla. It was, yeah, it was something to behold for sure. And we'll put pictures up as we go through.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was, to be honest, it was, you know, when you're fighting depression and you lose so much to other people in your past that you sort of lose yourself. And it was about me going back to my roots, and both sides of my family's Viking. And so, you know, it's in my blood, but it was also about, you know, going back to the roots and finding myself again. Even though I've never had a beard before, it's something that I ended up loving it. I liked the way it looked, you know, and you know, I follow other people, other groups that have beards, and you know, I respect and appreciate the amount of effort and, you know, dedication and commitment they put into their beard, and it's something that's I highly respect. Yeah.
It's yeah, it can be quite an art form. It's like you're sculpting with hair in a way. In some cases, you see these. I'm a member of the British Beard Club, so a shout out to those guys. There's some guys there who have like massive, like curly mustaches coming
Ah,
out here, big ornamental pieces. You know, they look like they're from the Victorian times. They
ah.
dress in the full kit, and it is something to behold. Like it's
I actually I follow that group on my page, the Roffey's Beard, and so I don't mind what group, where you're from, what nationality, what your culture is. I follow. I'm a big supporter of all beards, and when it comes to the moustache, I wasn't really good at the moustache, at the mo. And when I saw all these patterns and artwork that they put into their beard, it's like, wow, that's just amazing what they can do. Yeah.
I find recently I've started to do like this little bit of a thing coming up here, and you know sometimes I really go for it. I put quite a bit of wax in, and I give it the Salvador Dali. And there's a picture on my Instagram where it's all the way up here, looking like devil horns. And you know, it completely changes my mood, because if I have the beard coming down here and the mustache coming down, I start to like frown a bit and come a bit like Conan the Barbarian, you know, and get a bit serious. And every time I say something to the missus, she thinks I'm having a go at her, and I'm like, no babe, you're misunderstanding. It's the beard. Like you're looking, you know, this is not my expression, this is not how I'm feeling.
The
So I
beard made me
started,
do it.
yeah, the beard beat me to it. So I turn it up. It just makes me smile. Like it's so you know, I don't know what it is about things going up like
So
that. It's
you can
psychological.
get one of those hair ones that
Oh right.
you wrap the mow around and it naturally curls it up.
Oh
So
wow.
you don't really need much wax then, and
Yeah.
you twist it all in and then it holds. But yeah, I sort of just liked. I was in the end. I was growing it out, but then
Yeah.
at the start, I sort of didn't like. You'd have a coffee and then it'd get in your beard, and then you had, you know.
or
So I
or
started
or like a
finding that.
Guinness or something like that. You know, you get the there's
So I
there's
started
a
drinking out of takeaway coffee cups just so it wouldn't get in my beard, or stopped eating ice cream and stopped having bacon and eggs. And
you've
it's just
yeah
so in the
you've
end, I just kept.
you've always got to have baby wipes to hand just in case. You know, luckily I've got a newborn baby, so I've got that excuse. I've always got the baby wipes in the pram.
Absolutely.
There's a guy that I follow closely on YouTube. He's called Beard Meets Food, and he's a competitive eater. And this guy's got a magnificent beard, and it never seems to affect his mustache. And his mustache is like, he's quite long. He's quite a beastie one. Every now and then he gets crumbs in here. But yeah, just never affects the mustache. And I remember I grew the mustache out a few months ago, and that was the main focus of that particular growth. So I wanted a really mean looking mustache and a shorter beard. And yeah, like same as you, getting froth in it, getting food in it, like eating it, waking up with it in my mouth. It's just, yeah, bad times. But the wax has saved me. It's completely saved it. I just brush it again with the wax, and
Yeah,
no problem.
yeah. Oh, even the blow dryer, like every day I had the blow dry, or and then I had this, sometimes straighten it because it just had a mind of its own. Like, so I had this way. I found all these different techniques and ways to control it. Like, so there's all different stages, and these stages just go. How I just can't even do this today. Like, it's right. If you're going to be like that, nothing you could do.
It gets its own personality, doesn't it?
All these different stages of big goes through us where it's like, geez. And then, yeah, after a while, you start finding all these little ways and techniques to get through it all. And good beard products and beard washes, like, I've got mine on my page, like Slicks, he's got an amazing beard wash and oils, stuff, like, and even a balm, a grease to sort of keep it all slick, but
keep it up, keep it tamed.
Find it, like, even the beard wash is amazing, like getting rid of all the, if it's really dry, you miss a couple of days or something, it brings everything back to life. And with the oils, it's so, and that's had a lot to do with why I shaved off my beard, because one of the local fellas, James, started a coastal barbershop, and I was with him at the old barbershop, and then when he went out on his own, he was just such a nice guy, and I knew that he was always, there was something about, you come across a real nice, genuine person in your time, and it's very rare, and this is something very unique and special about this bloke. Anyway, I followed him to the barbershop because I was living in Goulburn for a while, and I was in supporting Jason Perry, who's the oldest and longest lasting barbershop in Australia. And when you're very loyal, to me it was hard. So I thought I'll start this journey again while I've in this depression state. And James started his journey with his coastal barber, and I was down here and I couldn't really afford to go to Goulburn all the time. And so I was my loyalty was in between two barbershops. And, as much hard that is, I started a journey with Jason's barbershop many years ago, and he helped me through and, gave me lots of tips. And then when I started regrowing it, so, and living a couple of hours away, I started following Coastal Barber. And James just had this thing about his soul, his mind, and his compassion. And he had this, he did a lot for Beyond Blue, which is, for mental health and depression, anxiety. But he'd help out with homeless, shaving people's beard. And he helped me out in a bit of a tough time. I was homeless. So he just had this, when the bushfires were here in Bateman's Bay, free haircuts, and, and just times was tough for him starting a new barbershop as it was.
Yeah, what year was that when the bushfires were happening? It was a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
It was a few, 3 years ago now. It was a big enough devastation. So it was kind of like when he opened up the barbershop, then there was fires, and then there was corona, and then there was floods, and, the COVID, it's really affected this town of Bateman's Bays. It's had so much devastation and hardship. And so going back a little bit, when I was really starting to get to know James, when he's opened up his own coastal barbershop, he asked me, what's a good company to sell beard products and stuff like that. And because I was testing and trying all different beard products all over, I sent him in quite a few. and he really liked Slick's products, and I really recommended Slick's beard products and a couple of others that are on my page actually that I've been following and supporting for many years, and others too. But so he's allergic to macadamia nuts and oil. So Slicks has his original has macadamia in it, but I said, what if we can work with Ben and, you know, try and come up with something that suits you? Anyway, he really liked Ben. He was very approachable. The customer service is really good. And so I went to Ben and said, what if we, you know, is there something we can do? And Ben jumped over hoops and redesigned his beard oils just for this one shop. So it didn't have macadamia in it, so he didn't have an allergic reaction. And, you know, but from that moment, we sort of, the three of us, Ben and myself and James, really started this brotherhood in this barbershop culture. It was outside of family and his friends and all that sort of stuff. It was like a completely separate, I don't even know how to put it. Like, it was just a totally separate brotherhood out of everything. And I've never had it before. And, you know, one afternoon.
You were like three amigos together, you know, just hanging out, building this thing together and having like fun, you know, like a brotherhood that, you know, lots of guys, you know, we stumble across that every now and then in our lives, and it's something that you always want to hang on to throughout your life.
Yeah, we could talk about everything and anything, be genuine and be ourselves. And like me, you'll see on my page, you know, it's about my life and rebuilding my life from homeless, and the beard was a big part of that, of my page. But we could just be real. We could talk about everything and anything, and we're supportive with each other. We you know, anything we could do for each other, we'd do it. So I don't know, like, it's, yeah. And when he passed away, it really hurt, really affected me and Ben from Slicks Co. And, you know, obviously his wife and kids, and, you know, one of his son, you know, under 1 year old, in and out of hospital quite a lot. And, you know, it's just was a huge devastation to this whole community, because he did so much and gave so much to so many.
Was there any indication that something like this was going to happen, or did it just completely come out of the blue?
I could tell James was having, you know, he was saying he's struggling mentally, and I saw him, and I was trying to reach out saying, let's catch up for coffee, and, you know, let's go for a walk on the beach, you know, let's catch up and chat, and, you know, we'll get through it. And so one afternoon I saw him. I'd never seen him, like, outside of work normally, and I saw him at the local IGA, and he dropped some eggs, and I said, oh, here you go, mate. You know, and he goes, oh, not good. I was going all right until I dropped these eggs. I said, don't worry about it, mate. They're just eggs, you know. And I said, how are you going? He goes, oh, I'm not doing too good mentally, you know, but I'll get through there, you know, I'll make it through. And I said, you know, I'm here if you need, mate, and, you know, want to catch up. And he goes, yeah, I'd like to catch up sometime, you know, and just so much going on at the moment. And I understand that, like, tough times, busy times, kids and family. And so, but I could actually visually see that he was struggling, not just him saying it. So I messaged Ben. As soon as I got home, I got onto Ben and I said, look, mate, I know James is not in a good spot, and I'm reaching out, you know, let's reach out to him and let's see what we can do for him. And yeah, so I was on messaging him through my only contact was through these Coastal Barber Instagram page, and I was messaging, you know, showing sympathy and compassion and support, and you know that I'm there. And Ben also was doing the same, and we're really trying to reach out. And yeah, I got a message saying, you know, that he hasn't come home. You know, it's very out of character. I didn't know where else to look, to be honest. I feel like, you know, we were gobsmacked on where to go, what to do from here. And I was going to go to his favourite spots in Durras, you know, the next morning. And so I got back from Bateman's Bay. I called Fee and said, you know, I'm just checking, see if he's turned up at the shop, you know. You know, might have just had a night on the piss, you know, whatever, and on the grog, and
yeah,
you know, might be a bit weird, you know, hard to wear at the moment, and you know, just you might have
fallen asleep on a rock somewhere, like
rolled out of swag and camped out the back of the, you know, you don't know, like people. Anyway, you know, I've been in the dark, in the worst spot in depression for years, for 3 years, and you know, the coast, the beach, the waves, the water got me through a lot of the trouble. And so I always went to my favourite spot, you know. So anyway, I pulled up in Bateman's Bay in the heart of the town there, and yeah, I was talking to Fee, and she told me that the police had found him and he won't be coming back. And I cried and got on to Ben, you know, and we'd video chat, and I was in tears, you know, and we were just shocked. And so I sort of said, what are we going to do? We got to help Fee and the newborn that's, you know, the little baby that's in and out of hospital, you know, and, you know, that he was the provider of the family, you know, but because he gave so much to so many and the community, and you know, he was such part of a brotherhood, you know, that was a big part of me and Ben, and you know, and it was a big part of Ben's business too with Slicks, because he sold the products there, and you know, he loved the beard products, and he loved you know, King Brown, you know, the hair products and stuff. So, and he was loyal, but so I guess, you know, I was sort of worked in with another lady and Ben to, you know, the GoFundMe page started up, and, you know, I just straight away said, look, if we hit a certain amount, you know, I didn't even know what amount, 5 grand, 10 grand, 15 grand, you know, a good aim, a reality aim target, and
something,
you know,
that can help his family.
Something, you know, that would show my love and respect for them. And I thought, well, bugger it, I'll shave my beard off. If we hit a certain amount, I'll shave the beard off. And you know what, the support there was amazing. It's just
it all happened. Before I was going to say, it all happened pretty quickly, didn't it? Like
everything happens so fast.
Because it's not that long ago, is it? When you found out,
it was only on the weekend.
Yeah, so it's
like, fresh. It's still fresh, and we're still shocked, and
you're still processing it. So like you're phenomenally, like, incredibly strong to like come on and talk about it, and about how you're feeling, and you know, to help work through it, and share your story and Slicks and James's story. You know, it's so
mate, we just feel for his wife and kids, and you know, with the little one being out of hospital, you know, like, but when you got brothers and family, to me, like, when you got kids, like, I've lost a daughter. I had to fight 3 years to be a dad. And when when you're in that headspace, you know, things just escalate and get worse and worse and worse, and depression gets greater and greater, and you just end up in this really dark place. And I call it the sewers of hell. You know, I understand that that battle is hard, and you know, sometimes it's like fighting a world war on your own mentally,
Yeah.
day in, day out, not sleeping, you know. And when you're going through that for years and a very long time, so depression you can have for a short time, a long time, or your life.
Yeah.
And
It's exhausting. Like that whole process
very,
that you go through, it's like physically, mentally draining, emotionally draining. You can, it's like
yeah,
constantly trying to push a boulder up a hill that's made out of treacle. Like you're constantly, you know, or you just feel suffocated, you know, by emotion that you can't control.
yeah. It's
And
like chemical imbalance in the brain and in the mind. And yeah, you're definitely right. It really is exhausting. It's really hard, and you're basically battling to stay alive the
yeah,
whole time, day in, day out. And when you're not sleeping for weeks on end, you know, sometimes you hit a point where you just can't even get out of bed, and you know, you don't even want to shower, and you know, you're in bed for weeks, or you know, like you
and
can't find any form of motivation or any reason or any purpose. And when you don't, like, even when my kids have always been my purpose and my focus, to stay alive, and I hang on to that. But my biggest one is because when I buried Michaela, my daughter, you know, 20, 22, 23 years ago, I promised myself I'd be the best dad I'll be. You know, I promised I don't break promises, and I don't make promises I don't keep. And I promised myself I'd be the best dad I could be. So for me, I hang on to that really tight, and that keeps me alive because, in all honesty, like, to me, you know, having the kids suffer that, I can't be the best that I can be if I'm dead. So that's that one thing, that one promise that I hang on to that pushes me through and helps me, even though I've, you know, almost quite a few times I put myself in the hospital and mental health hospital, and, you know, thought about suicide and attempted, you know, with overdose, you know, like on medication and stuff like that. You know, I've come close, you know, and I'm really glad that I survived and I'm still pushing through. So I am very sympathetic to James, and I understand how hard it is, and obviously you do too. You know, fighting every day. And James, you know, I don't blame him. What I will say is, I am so glad that he's at peace now. And you know, it's a positive thing in a bad situation to say, but it really is when you know how bad depression it is. I feel so sympathetic for him, and I feel like, mate, I'm so glad you're at peace now, because that is such a hard battle to get through every single day. And I don't blame, you know, some people say depression, oh, you're selfish, or, you know, just toughen up and get through it, you know, or, you know, so many things that people
yeah, so
say that really gripe me,
yeah,
saying you just don't understand because you've never been through it. You don't understand it because you know, until you've been through depression, anxiety yourself, you would never understand. It's like
yeah,
living in the sewers of hell, fighting that, you know, in the Game of Thrones, you know, you've got the dragons and all the dead demons fighting in that dark place, you know. It's like you're fighting that
all by
yourself,
yourself. Yeah,
all by yourself, and it's that exhausting. That's what it's exactly like in my head, and that's the best way I can explain what depression is like. You're literally fighting all those demons on your own in the dark, but you don't have anybody beside you. Even though people might want to support you and help you, you're
yeah,
literally doing it on your own. And so it's that exhausting where you are physically and mentally exhausted and drained, and you just get to a point where you just go, I just don't know if I can keep pushing through anymore. Like, you feel like you can't breathe. And, that's why the coast is good for me. I feel like sometimes I walk along the coast, and when you see my photos on Instagram walking along the beach, it's sometimes just those waves are enough for me to catch a breath or find some sort of peace in my mind where I can just find some kind of, not thinking about the 500 things going in my head, or all the issues and the challenges that I'm going through, financially, mentally, physically, like in life, or, in the past, even though you're trying not to focus on the past, you're trying to still focus on moving forward. It's really hard because depression just sinks you down. It's like being, dumped out in the ocean, and you got to tread water and float, or do whatever you can to stay alive.
You got to some way find the shore, only you don't know which direction it's in.
Absolutely. And you've got all these storms, absolute storms. You've got tornadoes, you've got all different types of waves and crashing. And, if, there's Castaway, there's different movies that you show where all these ships are in all these different conditions in the ocean. You just go, wow, like you really are treading water, and, you've got no life raft. You've got nothing there. You're just literally treading water, and you're trying to keep your head above water. That's another way you can look at it. So, when those heavy waves are crashing, and you got that whitewash, and then another one, you're gasping for it. Like, you see the other movies where surfers, have come off their board and hit, and they're just getting sucked under and sucked under and sucked under, and they go up, and then another wave crashes on top. Like big waves, and then you tumble, and it's like constantly fighting like that. And that's the sort of best ways I can explain what major depression is really like. And then there's different levels. So when you think, nothing else can go wrong, surely, and then there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more, and then there's more.
But how do we best manage that? And how, when you're in there, and you're in the depths of that sort of feeling, how do we make steps to come out of that? Like, what, I know what I do. I keep my diet clean. I make sure I go for a walk. I try and be creative and try and do something like, but like a sort of a metaphor that I like is, say our lives, like we're on a plane, right? And we're flying to a destination, and the plane gets in trouble, and you've got all your friends and family in the plane with you, and the plane's going down. And when the thing drops from the from just above you, you've got to look after yourself first before you look after anybody else. So I find that a lot of people who experience depression are probably sensitive people who have a lot of compassion for other people, and they can be outgoing people, can be what's called an extrovert. So you're always looking out for everybody else, because you know what it's like to have a shit time. So you want to make sure that all your friends and family are all right as well, but sometimes you forget to look after yourself, and that's when things get on top of you. But when you're in that plane,
but you're trying to avoid toxic. So there's the negative stuff of the world, and you're trying to be that positive person, and there's a lot of times you get shut down for there's having a big heart, and a big genuine heart can be at a consequence, because you can be super sensitive when you're in depression too. So you get to a stage where you shut yourself away, because you can't handle, I don't know, certain types of attitudes, or types of people, let's say, with different attitudes. And or the negativity and stuff like that. So you want to try and be that positive influence. And because you do understand the depression and how hard it is, you really don't want people to go. You want to try and stop it before it escalates too fast. So you go out of your way to try and help people to stop you getting to that depth where a lot of people don't come back from, because it's really hard when you're at that depth. Like, honestly, still today going, I'm amazed I survived. How did I survive? And then I realised how strong I am. Like, I was in it. Like, I still suffered depression at different levels, but the depths I was in for 3 years, like literally 3 years, every day was the worst nightmare. Like, you're living the worst nightmare you could ever. And you're very compassionate, and you hit a point where you just had enough of people's crap, and you just want to be, you get close to those who are genuine and need support, and you have that compassion and sympathy. And so when they say, you don't know what people are going through, just be nice, be kind.
Yeah.
And you hit that stage, and and when you've got this toxic or nasty, or when there's a type of banter that's gone above, a level of respect, then that becomes, you sort of shut down too, like you can't deal with that. Are you still there?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, still here. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that you understand too, because you end up your mind's playing funny buggers with yourself, and you can take a lot of what people say wrong, and you kind of turn into a sensitive person. So you end up just shutting yourself away and excluding yourself from everyone, because it's all just too hard. Like, then you sort of tell you think that people don't like you, and the people, you almost get into a too hard basket, because people don't know that it's not really you being you. It's your mind is your chemical imbalance in the mind is making you be someone you don't even want to be. And
and then you sort of it's somebody that you don't even like as well. And when you faced with that person in the mirror, it's hard to distinguish between who you are and who what the depression is. And you sort of, it's like a negative cycle going down. You kind of, you start with a little bit of like self-hatred or self-criticism, and then because you're more isolated, because you're pulling away from society and from people, it can make everything spiral downwards, and you've got to try and make it spiral up, and you got to try and find ways to connect with other people, and reach out for help when you need help. Don't be afraid to, it might have been 6 months the last time you spoke to your mate, but you've got to reach out and just take that chance and say, oh mate, how's it going? Like, did you watch that show recently? Did you watch that film? Oh, by the way, how are things with you? Yeah, I'm struggling, I need some help. Do you want to meet up for a coffee? And those little baby steps can help bring you back out of the cave, like back out into the world.
And ask straight away. Like, don't be afraid to ask, are you suicidal? Are you having, bad thoughts like that? Just get straight out there and ask it. And if they're saying yes, then, try and see how you can go about it. See, I found, you're absolutely right, healthy eating, healthy mind, body and soul, like medication too. It's a tough one, trying to find the right medication to find a nice balance, for the mood or anything like that, to try and balance that chemical reaction to the brain. But
it can take a long time to get that right.
Yeah, and then when you go on and off different medications too, it takes time to adjust to that. And then you're going up different stages to levels of medication, and then, that one doesn't work. So I've, for example, I've gone through about 10 different medications that didn't work for me. And finally I'm on the right track, and I'm on the right track with the right people too. You know, Pacific Health, Grand Pacific Health in Marie has been amazing for me, and the doctors there at Queen Street. I've got this great doctor there, and but my psychologist is way over imperfect because there's no, to be honest, the health system fails a lot of people because there's just not the right support, or they're not listening, or the care factor's gone. So to find actual doctors and the professionals that care is important, and to you know, but there's such a long wait. 3 months is a long wait to go and see a psychologist or a counsellor or the right professional, and you know, to turn up and that person mightn't even be for you. They mightn't understand that, you know, or there's no listening and
When you
understanding. But
I
the
was
big thing is too is they're not explaining what depression is. You
yeah,
know, because when you got depression, you're going, there's something wrong with me, there's something not right, and nobody's explaining what it is and how it works, and you know, what you got to be aware of, and you know how it gets you through. So I've spent so many years fighting, you know, 5 years to try and get the right help, and that's hard when you know, so to finally get
I was going to ask you,
the,
when you reach out to the medical system where you are, what's the process there? What do you have to do? Because here we have a system where you'll go to the doctor or you'll self-refer, then you have a telephone interview, and then you're invited after that interview to go to a group meeting, and then after that they will put you on a list if you want to go for it, where you might be 6 months before you get to see anybody. So just to take those steps, to talk to somebody that you've never met before on the phone, to try and explain what's going on, especially not just with depression, but if you're feeling anxious, and you know, that might be the last thing that you want to do. You might not want to self-refer. You definitely don't want to sit in a group of strangers and, you know, talk about how you know, what's going on with you, or get information. And then, you know, when you're in that place, you need help straight away. You don't want to be on a waiting list for 3 or 6 months or even a year. You need
absolutely
it
right
there and then. So it's,
and you definitely don't want to go in a small box room where a doctor sits and, you know, feel claustrophobic to a you know, you've got to have trust and rapport, and you know, like sympathy and understanding, and the information you need, and all that sort of stuff. And a lot of the times here, it's, you know, you go to a doctor's and, you know, get in, get out. I'll take these pills, get out. Next person. You know, it's all about you know, there's medical centers around, you know, not saying all of them, but some of them are all about, you know, the doctors have to see so many clients per day, and the owners of the medical center push for these poor doctors, to, you know, they've got to see so many, so they don't get the chance to open up and get to hear and listen. They, you know, so when you find a nice medical center and a doctor that, and you know, that will sympathize and listen and show that they care, and put you in the right direction for help, and you know, it's amazing. But geez, it's taken me 5 years to find that. So when you're saying 6 months to see someone, it's just, you know, and no wonder why we're losing people.
He's not on. Like, that was 2 years ago on the 4th of July. I lost a friend, Reese, to suicide, and in his suicide letter, this was one of the criticisms that he made, that he felt that when he asked for help, the help wasn't there, or it wasn't readily available, and that he had tried everything that he could, but he just couldn't access the help that he needed. So and
the same thing too, like there's medications that make you worse, in a worse state of depression, or make you feel sick, and then, you know, your moods and your the chemical imbalance just goes out of whack. So you might be already at a certain state of depression, and then when you start a medication that's not the right medication for you, you're going through this haywire cyclone, like a tsunami effect, until your body adjusts to that. Or if it rejects that, you just constantly you're nauseous, or you want to vomit, and you are sick. And so, but yeah, if you're going through that and you still can't get, so if you're starting that medication and you can't see someone for 6 months, like, you're buggered.
Yeah.
You either keep taking it and be sick and go through this bad stage, or, you go off it. And that's just probably sometimes even worse, because you're at a high level by that stage of medication, and you can't get the script or anything like that to slowly step yourself off it, or you can't get the psychologist, or I get the psychologist and psychiatrist and all that mixed up, but and then you can't get prescribed to go, right, well, let's take you down slowly and then get you back onto something else, like like steps. And when if you do, like I've done it quite a few times actually, just gone straight off the medication, it's not good. Like it's like you've gone off, well, your brain goes haywire. It's just like you're sending you into a crazy stage, and you don't want to be that person.
Did you did you experience like zaps, like brain zaps, or like when you move your eyes left to right, and it's like
a light,
like a lightning bolt hits your head?
Exactly. Yeah,
that's horrible.
And then you get paranoid, and then you're starting to feel like you're schizophrenic, and then you like that's even more horrible place than you're already in. And those zaps of lightning bolts, exactly what you're talking, like from the side going through the back or back in front of your eyes type thing.
Yeah, it can sometimes come through you all the way down to your fingers.
Your
as well.
Fingers and arms. Yeah. It's not a very good feeling, and you're just thinking, oh, what the hell's going on here? Like, am I literally going mad? Did that actually happen? And
I experienced that by accident. Yeah, I experienced that by accident around about last Christmas. So we had COVID going on, and I thought I had another packet of medication in my bag and didn't, and I ran out over Christmas, and then everything was closed over New Year's and bank holiday. So I had like 3 or 4 days where I didn't have the regular medication, and it was horrible. I didn't know who that person was. I experienced the brain zaps, the nausea. Whenever I tried to go to sleep, all I could see was like demons just like ripping me to shreds. Like it was just, if anybody was to describe what hell would be like, that is it. Like it terrified me to the point where I thought, holy crap, I need to make sure that I never ever ever run out of this medication ever again, because that was horrendous. I was normally I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but I was like furious. I was in the completely different state of mind. I was crying at the drop of a hat, and I just spent like most of Christmas in bed until I could get back to the chemist and get an emergency dose, which then it took a few hours, took about 8 hours or something to start to feel normal and for the zaps to go away. But yeah, that was horrific experience to go through. So
sorry to hear that.
No, it's fine, man.
And it's like you're non-stop crying. You just you still got to try and work and earn money and all that sort of stuff, and you can't. Some people say toughen up, or just get on with it, and like it's not like that. You just, unless you have suffered depression, which in all honesty, when you've suffered depression, you wouldn't want your worst enemy to go through that, because it's beyond like I wouldn't like anybody to go through depression, and that's why I'm very sympathetic when it comes to this, because when you yourself have been through such a battle for so long, in the certain depths, you really just want to stop others from getting there, because it really is a horrible place, isn't it?
Yeah, and is that what made you your new career that you're going into? You're doing your internship, in mental health and support. Is that what made you go
Yeah.
into
So
that?
my eldest brother, Wade, is in Borawa, still with my parents. He's Down syndrome, so my background, we're having the brother there in individual disability sport sort of hits home. But when you've suffered, um, depression and a mental health issue, it sort of hits home to you. So I've been working with Ryan from New South Wales Health quite a bit lately. He's been doing backgrounds on, what can be changed, what needs to be done, some courses that are coming up, and what's it like in a mental hospital. As I put myself in there, and it was like, being put in prison with, people that are high on drugs that, are trying to get them off their high. So you're fighting not only depression, but you're fighting, you're in a hospital like a prison, fighting, people that are, drunk and high on drugs, and there was more drugs. So anyway, so there's lots of challenges that I've been working with Ryan in the New South Wales Health, and what my personal story, where the health system can better. And I think, it's just the start. And because there's such a pandemic on the mental health, that and awareness, I just don't want to be about, funding and stuff like that. I literally want to help, and help people understand what individuals really go through, when it
Yeah,
comes to the depression and the mental health. So,
I think
all that.
we're
Yeah,
definitely
all
doing
that.
that today. Like, we're definitely highlighting some issues, and just by sharing our struggles, and the things that we've been through, and the people that we've lost. Hopefully, anybody watching this will realize that, um, that this is, when you're going through it, it's hard to see the other end, but to take that extra step to commit suicide, or not commit, sorry, to die.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, you are committed to it, and when you go through it,
Yeah, like
and to get that's
when
like that is hard. Like, yeah.
yeah,
Sorry,
I
continue.
was going to say, like, when that happens, that is a permanent solution, or a permanent answer to what could be a temporary state of mind, or a temporary situation. So although it's, that might seem like the last straw, and then for a lot of people it is, just try and hold on, and try and get some help, and push through it, because life can get better. It can.
It can,
Yeah.
with hard work and sacrifice and change. It can. Like, if you see my story on Instagram, like, I've got a lot of photos, and it's about, yeah, lots can change, and it can get better. And over time, with sacrifice and change, so much can happen. So, but yeah, you're right. But when you're in that mindset, it's, well, yourself, coming
Yeah,
out of that, you can sympathize when people don't, but
definitely.
you don't want. So to be there for people, to open up and say, look, I'm really struggling, and I don't think I'm going to last the night. I'm actually thinking about suicide. We need people just to say it and get out there and say, right, because I found through my struggles, it wasn't the people that I knew, or my family, or anyone like that. It was strangers that have actually suffered depression that were the ones, and it was the random strangers. And I'm very big. I get a lot of. I'll go to the beach and I'll say, look, when you've suffered that yourself, you see signs, right? And you go, sorry, I don't know you, but you know, are you okay? Like, yeah, you seem like you're pretty down. And then next minute, I'll just even say sometimes, would you like a hug? You know, because they'll simply as say, you know, things are a bit shit at the moment, but and I say, I would, you know, straight away, I'll say, would you like a hug? Because in the reality of the health system, you're not allowed to give someone a hug. And sometimes people just need a hug.
Yeah.
And someone to be by their side and, you know, sit by a fire. You know, water and fire are amazing. It's like a hypnosis when it comes to taking 500 things out of your mind and focusing on something where you feel like you can get a breath. So I utilize water a lot. So if someone says to me they're really down and they need help, then I will take them on an adventure, literally by the water. Or if it's night time, have a fireplace going or a fire pit and, you know, sit there because they've got something to focus on and to soothe their soul, basically. So eating healthy is a huge part of mental health. It's but when it comes to medication, a lot make you put weight on, make you bloat, and make, you know, so finding that medication that doesn't make you put weight on is really hard. Especially when you go on and off medication, there's this transition of cravings and, you know, all sorts of stuff. So I'm actually put on weight because I've been going through that transition.
And sometimes because the medication is working, you might be feeling better, and then you're going out a bit more, and you might be eating a bit more, drinking a bit more, and then the weight just goes on because you're feeling better.
And then you feel more depressed because you look and feel more crap. So then you're escalating again because you start hating yourself more. And I look at myself, you know, I've put on, like, I was finally at a stage where I really I started to like myself. And for me, that was a really big deal. And that was, you know, the beard and a good weight and stuff like that. And, you know, my photos was about building confidence and self-love, you know, and to get to that stage is a big deal because you're constantly just hating yourself when you're in a depressed state.
Yeah.
So when you put weight on, and sometimes you don't realize that it's actually the medication making you put weight on. I learned that a lot. I was fighting my weight for 10 years, like, you know, almost hit 100 kilos. And I've just gone, why am I struggling so much to lose weight? And, you know, I went to a lady called Sophie at the local in the Bateman's Bay health shop here and she was amazing, like, you know, helped me, took blood tests and you know, helped me I found out, you know, certain things like certain foods and veggies bloat me, and, you know, eliminating carbs and sugars, and, you know, really helped me control that. For me, it actually started working good. I started getting a bit of motivation, and sleep was important. Like, if you don't sleep, the worse you get.
Yes, sleep is super important, definitely.
Super important.
You know,
the less you sleep, the worse it gets.
So something that I find useful, I have a Fitbit that I wear, so I can you know, have the Fitbit on, wear it when I go to bed, and then I'm monitoring my mood and, you know, the amount of sleep that I get. So if I get, you know, 7-8 hours, I'm good. You know, I can be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, you know, or you know, for the rest of the day. But you know, if I'm getting 5 hours a night over a week, my mood starts to drop. So, you know I need to pick that up and have a nap. And, you know, if I'm not getting out there and getting 10,000 steps a day, or if I'm eating sugar and craving things like chocolate and stuff, I know that, you know, those are all signs to me that things are
not good.
Could go bad. But the keto diet definitely helped me to lose weight and stop all the cravings for sugar, and, you know, improve my gut health as well. So, I feel like the gut and the brain, they're connected. You know, if you have a good diet, and you know, it's all interlinked, the exercise, the sleep, the diet, and the mood,
Absolutely.
it's all interlinked. And I think, you know, a lot of the time we get so busy with work that we neglect things, and we grab food on you know, quickly on the fly. You know, we might have a hot dog or a burger or something crap, you know, or we might need a takeaway because we can't be bothered cooking. And
Or
you know,
comfort food because you're not really
yeah,
going too good and you need something like,
and I
you know,
think
I was a smoker too. So
yeah,
to quit smoking was a big part of that. And then when you quit smoking, you put on weight, and then, you know, you got cravings. And so, yeah, but you're absolutely right. Like, there's this one big cycle,
yeah,
you know, eat healthy, sleep, fitness. But it's really important to educate yourself,
yeah,
and to
yeah,
try and, it's important to know that yourself, that you need, something's not right and you need help. And, you know, um, going and admitting to yourself that there is something wrong and going looking for the right help. It's not
yeah,
about getting anyone to help. It's about finding all different ways to help yourself. You know, only you can get up out of bed. Only you can go and say, I need help, to a friend, a doctor, something's not right. You know, it's, you know, sometimes just getting out of bed and having a shower is a good step. You know, it's better than rotting in bed, you know,
yeah,
which I have done for weeks on end. And when you don't know anything about depression and anxiety, and, you know, when healthy eating and sleep is important, is usually important, and exercise. But when you're in that state, you know, nothing,
yeah, nothing
well, you know,
matters.
yourself,
And I,
doesn't matter.
yeah, you're right that like having the knowledge and the awareness, that is a very powerful tool, because for a lot of guys, you know, a lot of guys are prone to depressive states or depression in their, you know, 20s, and then it'll go away and then come back in the 40s. And
Yeah.
you know, it can at
So
that
a
time,
lot
I
of
was,
that can do with trauma.
yeah,
So past trauma, and certain things trigger, different traumas, different things in life that, and then when that's activated, and this chemical reaction in your brain, like boom, like an explosion, almost like a shatter, really. Or, you know, sometimes it can just be one big spiral straight down, or just
mm,
like a cone, I guess, like a whirlpool. I guess, you know, you're getting sucked down into the ocean. But it's when you really need to identify, or someone needs to say, look, you know, I can identify when someone's not sleeping, or hasn't been good mentally, because I saw it in myself. So, but it is important that even when you're getting help and it's not the right help, you still need to identify and explain that
yeah,
still things aren't not right. But when you've got that 3 month gap of not getting the help you need, and people listening, or even if you're over the phone talking, when people are not listening and getting onto it straight away, that's the hard part, you know, because that's a long time between now and then where somebody really could pass, you know.
yeah,
So, um, I've helped a lot of people, where I am, you know, I'll take them for a walk, an adventure, you know, along the coast, and sometimes sitting there looking at, watching seals, or just watching the ocean. And, you know, you get your
mm,
mind into a calm state, a form of meditation. And,
just
you know,
reconnecting with nature, like it's
and nature,
important.
and
Yeah,
whether it be a bushwalk, or, yeah, being right next to the bush, outside, get out in the sun, or, you know. And but saying that too, the hardest thing is when it's wintertime and you can't get out. So
mm,
fire,
yeah,
you know, is, if you know, but then if you can't have that, you know, I use my view, you know. But then when it's dark, you know, you're trying to finding tools to help you soothe your soul and your mind is key.
yeah,
Um,
because
meditation,
I,
meditation and form of yoga, and, you know, I honestly, I haven't started that yet because it's more of a financial thing for me at the moment. If you're not in a financial state to go to the gym or find a coach or exercise, or you don't have people around you to help encourage you exercise or get out, and if you're
Yeah, I mean,
alone, literally alone, it's really hard. And I've been
yeah,
doing this alone for a long time, and it's hard. And sometimes you feel like people don't like you or want you or to be around, or me moving from Goulburn, where my ex-wife and kids live, it's hard starting a new life, and it's hard building new friendships and new towns, and you literally don't have anyone. So,
yeah, it can take a lot of
you
time. Definitely, I've been in in this town for 2 years, and only now after 2 years are we starting to make friendships where we'll go walking with people that we know, or might nip out for a coffee or lunch or something. It can take a long time, especially if you're busy working.
absolutely years.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
going back to what you were saying about making that reconnection with nature. I think a lot of the problems that we have, they come from our modern way of living. So like everything that you described, like over here in the UK, you don't have a lot of opportunity to have access to a fire. It's that's something that we've lost, because of environmental issues or safety or whatever. So a lot of people have central heating. The winters can be really dark, and it's normally around January, February where I might feel at my lowest. Most times in the summer I'm fine, autumn I'm fine. But yeah, you're
yeah,
definitely right. And one of the ways that I cope with it was by keeping busy, keeping as busy as possible. But that only pushes it to one side. Like it makes it worse because I'm not coping with things. But what I used to do, where I used to live up in the northwest, I was on the coast as well. So the exact same thing as you, walking on the beach, running on the beach, collecting shells, like listening to the tide coming in, sitting there,
yeah,
looking at the landscape and the sand dunes, and having a little dip in the ocean. All of those things just took all of the stress away. For that period of time, it just
and
like
it's, yeah, it feels like you're catching a breath. Yeah,
yeah, it drains all of that weight off your shoulders and all that negativity out through your feet into the earth, and like the waves just take it away. And it's
yeah,
yeah, definitely, if you're feeling low, or anything like that, it might be a struggle, but you've got to get out there, get out to the local park or go to the beach, or you know in our local park there's squirrels everywhere. There's pigeons, there's things that you can look at, and you know
yeah,
it's just great. You got to find the beauty in nature to help you feel better. You got to reconnect, because we become very isolated, and we're on the
yeah,
internet, we're staring into our phones, and it's not healthy. We're looking at other people's lives, thinking that
yeah,
those people have a great life on social media, and we have the fear of missing out. And
yeah,
we're comparing our situation to other people's situations, but you have to remember that people only put on social media normally what they want you to see, and it's the good stuff.
yeah.
And it's
The
like
good stuff.
what we were talking about with the news. The news only puts on the bad stuff. Social media, people only put on the good stuff. You got those two like polar opposites hitting you 24 hours a day. You have to take a break from social media and from the news, and go for those walks, and try and
Yeah,
meet new people. Like you say, you might find that a friendship will spark, just from saying good morning to someone that you're walking past. you know
absolutely. Just being
right.
kind and nice, and
Yeah,
not um, uh, uh, trying to be positive and uplifting and supportive, even to others when you're in your hardest times, can be positive. But you're absolutely right. Like, yeah, it's just like, but when you got to try and push yourself to get out, or someone, when you don't have anyone there to say, come on, let's go, or a reason to get outside,
yeah,
and you are alone, it gets hard. So, you know, it's all up to you at the end of the day. Keep on keeping on is a thing I say all the time. It's like pushing yourself to get outside, to to get up to shower.
Yeah.
Just sometimes little things, little steps, and thinking about the positive, like how strong you are just by getting up and having a shower, or going outside can be a big deal. And just being kind, and when you do walk past someone and saying g'day, sport is, I used to play rugby union league and all sorts of sport when I was younger. I was super fit, and I think that had a lot to do with my when I lost my daughter. So it sort of took out the anger. It was like an anger management sort of thing. When I could tackle someone, I would basically tackle like I was already dead. Like I didn't care about myself. I put my body on the line, and I'm only a short, 165, so 5'5", let's say 5'6", and I'll be the shortest bloke on the field, and I'd put my body on the line, and I'd feel good. If I got hurt, I'd feel good.
Yeah.
And
because you were feeling something,
I felt alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like if something happened to me, then I didn't really care, because that was a state of, I don't know. I also suffer ADHD. So, I've just learnt myself, like, so I'm finding lots out about adult ADHD now. So, and I'm finding out, that, back then now it all makes sense,
Yeah.
So it's not just depression, it's ADHD and depression. And for those people who are suffering, like PTSD or, so many other things as well as depression, and like I'm going, geez, my hats off to you, like, because when you've got multiple different mental issues, or like, let's say disabilities, or mental health issues, it's hard. Like, so definitely keeping active for me was a big part of it. But back then I could almost eat anything. But you'd go to a pub and drink, and you'd I'd fight or dance, or depending how you were in the mood, make love, whatever. Like, you burnt everything out. So now with the COVID and things, when you're so isolated, there's no bands, you can't dance it off, you can't burn your energy, or you
can't meet people
you can't play
to make love with. Like, it's it's something that we think about a lot is when we were growing up in late teens, early 20s, you go out on dates, you go out to a place, you'd meet other people, and and you'd have that interaction, that excitement, and what are the kids gonna do now? Like, they're stuck in these lockdowns. Are they gonna just internet date and just have these apps and get to know people that way? It's not the same. It's gonna be really hard. Like, you're gonna have a whole generation of people, unless we break out of these like lockdowns pretty soon. You're gonna have a whole generation of people who don't know how to interact with one another.
Well, absolutely. And when, like, I look at it now, when I used to be so active, and the technology wasn't there. Wasn't that? I mean, I remember when the computer was just started, when I was in like high school. Like, I was in year 10 or 9 or 10, and the computers were just starting to come into schools.
Yeah, same.
And so,
just a tiny bit older than me, aren't you? So yeah, it's the same sort of age. Windows 95.
So, so now you've got all this technology, and I'll admit, Instagram, and I store my story on Instagram, so I spend a bit of time doing that. But at the same time, I get creative with my photos and stuff like that, and it takes a focus off my mind.
Yeah.
So it's like almost a hobby about me, my story, my moods, my emotions, the way, me in the moment, or, it's about my life. It's the good and the bad. And not many people are actually, don't have the encouragement to put the good and bad and real life
Yeah.
on something, social media for, there's hackers and all that sort of stuff out there, and we battle with that too. But, to show emotion. So people with mental health do, I get messages saying, oh, you're so, you inspired me right now. For some reason, you just posted something up and it's something that I really needed to hear or see, and you just inspired me. You just gave me the encouragement to keep going, and yep, things can get better, or and when you get a message like that, it's really amazing. It's so sometimes just showing all the great things in life, or how amazing your life is, really sometimes isn't the best. It's great to see that you're happy, and I'll send people a message going, I'm so grateful. It's so nice to see that you're happy and things are going well for you, and encourage that, and show that you can be happy for other people's situations in life, and not have an agenda. You don't have to be there for people for an agenda. And I'm finding a lot of that. There's a lot of selfishness and greed, and when you literally find people out there supporting others with no agenda, it really is a beautiful thing. And that's what Ben and I are like, are doing at the moment with James. We're just literally cared for a brother, and we just want him to know that we're still here for him, even though he's not here. That we're still brothers, and we still love him, and I didn't know his family or his wife and stuff like that, but we've reached out and showed that we care. And for me to shave off my beard is a big deal. So it's showing the compassion and sympathy and empathy and everything that lacks in this world at the moment.
You've done an amazing job as well. I'm just going to quickly go onto your profile. I'm going to click on the GoFundMe page, and you're up to almost $18,000. Which
so there was a lovely lady. I'm very bad at names, and she knows who she is, but just wanted to thank her for working with us and getting the page up and going. She's like a brother to James growing up, as far as the story. I really don't know her that well, and I said, Slicks and I really want to get a GoFundMe page going, or I've had help from a couple of people I know here in Bateman's Bay, and I'm not really good at that computer stuff, and I mentioned it to this lady, and we got it going up super quick. I don't know, she was already in the process of doing stuff, and we didn't want to do multiple pages, multiple GoFundMe pages, or multiple charity things. We really just focused on one account, going straight into that one account to support.
I can share that screen right now.
It was about supporting James's wife and his kids, and the poor young fellas in and out of hospital, and they really needed help. So that's it. Yeah,
you might be able to see it now, but this is your page, yours and Slick's page, and this is
and the other ladies. It was more the other lady that got the GoFundMe page going. That's all her. That is
so this is
Ben and I joined it from.
I was going to say, this is what it looks like. We're going to put this link on the YouTube. We'll put it on the Instagram and all the other Cybernaut Club social medias. And this is James, who was tragically lost not too long ago. And it's this is the page here, and it has the story here. And then there's messages from people who've donated. These are all.
One person donated $2,000. Like when I saw that, I was like blown away. Like how lovely, like
beautiful person, Steve Mason. Like every single amount, whatever it might be, will go to help James's family. Through this hard time.
Especially the baby, under one, going in and out of hospital, and and that's what it's about. Helping his wife, who was the husband of his family and, you know, the father of his children. And it's about helping the little one that's in and out of hospital a lot, you know, and helping his wife, you know, pay rent, help to go towards the funeral, but help, you know, to continue on with it. You know, when you lose someone, it's the financial stress on, well, you know yourself, like if you've got financial stress when you're fighting depression or going through a really hard time, you know, that escalates things dramatically. So when the other lady, the other lady reached out to me, actually, she said, "Oh, thank you so much for, you know, everything, your kind words and everything when it comes to Coastal Barbershop and James." And I sort of said, "This is what we want to do, start a GoFundMe page." And she started up and included me and James in it.
And this is your page as well. This is your Instagram. So you can find Roffey at bearded_Roffey on Instagram. And you can see the transformation. Just click on this one, zoom in a bit. So this is like the beard. This is how epic it was. And here we are with Roffey now. So yeah, it was
even though I don't recognize myself. It's going to be interesting. My daughter has never seen me without a beard. She's 5. And so, you know, she would have been way too young before, wouldn't have known me without the beard. So even maybe she might remember me with stubble when it first started, but you know, I've been growing it for 4 years, so there's no way.
What were you thinking here at this point when this was going on?
Fee asked me, "Are you ready?" And I just went, like,
"Is this James's wife? Is this?"
So that's Fee, James's wife, and this is the Coastal Barbershop. This is the very last. So Fee, it was the very last cut in James's barbershop. We packed it up. We packed the shop up. And so when Fee cut the beard off, she asked me, "What do you even look like?" And then she was saying thank you in support. And we sort of both got very emotional. We thought we were keeping it together really good. And, you know, we pushed through. She was very strong. You know, we lost it a little bit and then we gathered ourselves, and, you know, she's such a lovely lady. She's really beautiful. The kids are, you know, like, and for her to do that, you know, I can only imagine what she was going through, you know, packing the Coastal Barbershop up and, you know, cutting off my beard, you know. Like, I asked her to personally do it because that meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me doing it in his barbershop with his cutter, you know, and it didn't worry me how it happened, how she did it. It just meant, you know, it was going towards a good cause, and it meant a lot to me because I felt like for so long I was a part of James's journey with the beard products. And
this is James and his little baby.
Yeah. So, you know, James is, you know, I don't know too much about finances, and that's not, James and I never mentioned it, you know, and I can only imagine going through COVID, you know. There was a period there where he couldn't, you know, have clients, had to do mask and all that sort of stuff. And being a barber, that's hard, you know. So, and then having the little one going in and out of hospitals, out of hospital. So he would take, you know, a week off or days off and couldn't do a full week or a full day or, you know, a full week, you know. I'm getting a bit emotional.
That's all right, mate.
Yeah, so, you know, he would have been going through such financial hardship, and then, you know, another barber shop, like literally starting to open up literally just around the corner from his shop. But, you know, that didn't worry him or fee too much, apparently, but, you know, because I think when you find a good barber, you know, you sort of stick to that person. And when you find a good barber that can do beards, especially, a lot of them can't do beards.
Yeah.
You really stick to it, because they end up, you know, James would end up fixing it all, you know.
I guess for a lot of people as well, you know, when you can't access a counselor or a psychologist, you've got a few people that you can go to that you can rely on, and one of them's your barber, one of them's your bar guy, and the other one's probably your priest or something, you know. And you can go and see those people, and you know,
I was a barman for a long time, and I was like, they call them accidental counselors.
Yeah.
And that's, hairdressers would relate to that, you know. Everyone opens up their problems to the world, and, you know, in these
I think it's because people feel comfortable talking in a lot of cases to strangers, or people that they may not see again, or people that they see a little bit but they're acquaintances. It's, you know, there's no danger, they're not involved in their life. It's somebody who's looking after you in a way, especially with a barber. You know, they're caring for you, they're giving you that you know, making you feel good about yourself by helping you with your appearance. And with a bar guy, they're there to have a bit of banter and, you know, give you some drinks, and you have a lot of happy memories there as well. So yeah, it's the same sort of thing. And it's easy to see why people would open up to those kind of people.
And just like, you know, like when you see a hairdresser or a barman, or barman or a barber, you know, and they've got that, you can tell when somebody has empathy, you know, and you can talk to them and things just start flowing, you know. And it's good to be able to have that, because when you don't, like, you really are excluded and shut away, and and that's even harder. So
yeah, and I think COVID has definitely had an impact on that, because people haven't been able to go to their bars, haven't been able to go to the barber. You know, in a lot of cases, nobody's, you know, haven't been able to go to church, or, you know, all these different things, like going to the gym, things that would have typically made you feel good. They've all just been shut down. Like it's
cafes, restaurants here. There's lots of empty shops, because it's just financially too hard. There's half like so many shops empty, because, you know, where Bateman's Bay here is, you know, high tourism. You know, they holiday season and stuff like that, Christmas time, you know, the town relies a lot on people from Canberra and Sydney coming down. You know, there's a lot of holiday houses here, and that's where a lot of the financial support from this town and the businesses, you know, get through the year. And they haven't got it from fires. And
I was going to say, is there any sort of support from the government, any sort of furlough, or any sort of grants, or, you know, money coming into local businesses from the government?
In Australia here, I'll take my hat off to the government. Like, compared to globally, the government has done everything they can. Like, even though it's probably not enough, but when it comes to businesses and people who were working and had to be stood down, there was like a work support. Like, in all honesty, they've probably gone about it the best way they could, and it's hard. Like, so, you know, there's not enough, but then it's probably more. So there's probably a wage group where, righto, well, geez, you know, it's not enough. You get used to earning a certain amount, and then you get cut right back. And then there's some that were, you know, maybe earning $200 or $300 a week that are earning more. Yeah. So, you know, lucky them. But so when it comes to businesses, they were trying to help the business, the employee, well, trying to keep their staff employed, or, you know, through a scheme. I don't really know too much about it, and I won't go into it too much. Like, but if you're a sole trader, it was extra difficult. And I know some people out there are sole traders, and if they're, you know, kite surfing instructor, or, you know, someone like James, you know, he was the only barber in the shop. It was his shop. So that was extra difficult. So Yeah, and I don't know. I won't go too much into that, but
Yeah, that's
financially,
fine.
I think globally, like after the fires here, houses burnt down. There was already enough financial difficulty in town, and and then COVID, and then floods, and it's just been a really rough 3 years. There's really hasn't been much of a summer. We've actually been lucky wintertime. It's been pretty good weather, so get outside and still enjoy the sun a bit. Luckily, but last 3 summers haven't been great. So when it comes to even tourism, it's been a struggle. Like, so
Yeah.
businesses really are struggling, and I don't know how a lot of them are going. So to be honest, and so what's it like over there? It'd be the same, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah, there was yeah, the government, I think, been pretty good, like with the furlough scheme. I'm in teaching, so I wasn't really affected by that. I was able to keep on teaching. I just moved my work from the office or the classroom to this office here in my house. So I was able to keep going. I wasn't thankfully impacted by it too much. But yeah, the high street is looking like a ghost town, and a lot of businesses have closed. But I think they had a lot of financial packages in place to help businesses, but it's not a long-term solution. And we need to start opening back up again, and people need to start moving again. And I think the
yeah,
biggest fear here is that towards September, October, if there's going to be another lockdown, people are just wondering how they're going to pay for things. So yeah, it's
yeah. I've
bad.
got a mate in America, Thomas. He's such a great guy. Like, he's another he's kind of like another James and Ben to me. Like, everyone's unique in their own way, but when you can have a brotherhood, and for me to find one in America has been pretty amazing. And he's got his own business too, and he was really earning a good income. He had a good business going, and then COVID, and so you're going from one extreme down to the other, trying to keep a business alive with scraping with scrapings, and to try and keep people employed. I was talking to a fellow, JJ's at the Mariners, like, to have to. You can only keep a certain amount of staff and so many people in. So you're cutting staff down, So, and then other people can't afford to spend also. So your
Yeah,
business is struggling in all these different directions. So, our mate's George, he's the kite bus. He does kite surfing lessons and stuff like that, and can't get anyone here because literally you're all based from Canberra, like in Sydney. Well, Sydney's on a huge shutdown at the moment for COVID. Like, it's getting that bad in New South Wales or Sydney that they're talking about locking borders. I don't watch the news because it is all negative, but I
yeah,
do concentrate wholly and solely on the messages and follow the New South Wales health app, where you do get updates. We've got to wear masks when you go in the shops and stuff. Luckily, we can still get outside here at the moment, whereas I
yeah.
think in Sydney it's complete lockdown, and we've been in complete lockdown here twice.
What? So you
So,
couldn't, you weren't allowed to even leave your house?
so a lot of the times you could go and basically get your shopping
Yeah,
and maybe an hour walk, and then that was it. So,
yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
when
Same
you're
here.
fighting when you're fighting depression, you avoid most people at the best of times. So to me, it was sort of like a normal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
It was
hard
the
because you can't exactly go to the pub and play sport and meet people, and so everything's just weird anyway. So you just go,
yeah.
oh well, it's hard. So
It was the kind of
yeah,
it
you
was
just get
kind of the
used to it.
same. Yeah, it was kind of the same for me, because like I've only been here for two years in this area, so it wasn't like I was going out with mates anyway. And all I was doing was throwing myself into my work and my family. So for us socially, like, things didn't really change that much. But for like having anxiety, I found it quite freeing that like there was less people around. I know that sounds weird, but like
Yeah,
there was less people around. I've kind of felt a little bit freer to like,
yeah,
go out and walk around because there was a bit more room and it was less crowded. So
yeah,
I don't know, it was all right for me, I think, but that's just a weird like just a weird one-off thing. I'm sure it was horrible for like the majority of people. Um
yeah.
yeah.
So when you're so used to being around so many people and being so social or active, it would be, and then all of a sudden you have to be isolated.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a different story again. So, you know, I mean, one thing I did find out with depression is, when you're alone and you're isolated all that time within yourself anyway, that um, you can find ways to enjoy your own company and you get used to your own company. But when you're so I too was very social and active when I was younger. So I get both aspects of it.
Yeah.
So when you come out of that and you have to be isolated and you can't go anywhere and you're stuck at home and you've got to put up with yourself, and your thoughts and your mind, then there's an escalation period of depression too. So um, you know people are going crazy in their own home because they can't get out.
Yeah.
So
I feel bad for the old folk, who were already kind of isolated, and the grandparents and stuff who, they rely on those little visits out to the shop and to bump into those
bingo.
people. Yeah, they rely on that, and when they can't do that or they can't have the grandkids around because
Yeah,
they might pose a threat to their health,
yeah,
that must be the hardest thing for them, I think.
yeah. They must look at this world and go like, the older generation must look at this, the way this planet has become, the way politics and everything has become from what I, being at my age and growing up on the farm in Borawee, and take off to my parents, my hat off to my parents. I haven't seen them for a while, but in all honesty, the way I was raised and the way they raised me, I'll take my hat off to them because I feel like they did raise me right, and
Mm,
they, when I did something wrong, I knew about it, and when I was taught respect, you know, dignity, pride, you know, um, open the door for the, respect the elders and all that sort of stuff, and you know, um, you treat people how you'd like to be treated. So
yeah.
you worked hard, you put your 100% into everything you did. You built things to make things last, and you put pride into your work, and you gave your all to everything, and there was back then you had give and take. You had this barter system, and you could go and help each other, give and take. And now everything just seems like I was talking to James at one stage in the barbershop and going like, he agreed where people like us were raised a certain way and it doesn't exist anymore. So we struggle to find our place and worth, and we don't know where we belong in it anymore.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine, like, there's certain generations that struggle because literally you don't know where you belong anymore.
Yeah. I think like
Um,
uh, you know every generation of people or every 100 years or so, we all live in this shared reality, don't we? But for different people it's different, so their version of the world is completely different, and it can happen on, you and I, we're 40 or approaching 40, and so growing up in the 80s, or late 70s or in the 80s and 90s as kids, you I was brought up on Hulk Hogan and being positive, and like the sort of the American values of everything's going to be great, like it's the 80s, we're going into the future, flying cars, all that sort of stuff. And you know, now I kind of think, what are these kids growing up in? Like sort of a world of false lips and filters, and you know, you
Yeah.
just, the most important thing is money and possessions and
Yeah.
status and stuff like that. And it when I was growing up, it was like, could I be as good an artist as Leonardo da Vinci, or could I become an astronaut? Am I smart enough to do this? Am I, you know, am I strong enough to compete against like Arnold Schwarzenegger? It was about what you did, not about what you had. And I think
Yeah.
it's tricky. Like, we need to get back to like
The
worshiping or
basic.
honoring people based on what they can do, not how much money they can earn.
Yeah. I I was born in Sydney, so we in Mika Avenue. I even remember the address. So, and we lived straight across the road from the school, and there was this hill, dive straight down into a Tina section. We'd get on our little penny board and ride down this hill, and if a car came, you know, we'd do the old go to the side of the road and do the old death drop tumble roll,
Yeah.
you know, so we don't get smashed by a car or do something stupid. And when you were committed to that T intersection, you know, and you know, there wasn't a care in the world. You know,
Yeah.
you did stupid stuff and we survived, and you know, but we'd lived life. We were riding our bikes around, you know, our streets, and but we weren't doing damage. You know, we didn't hurt anyone else. We put our lives on the line, like we lived on the edge a bit, but you know, there's different
You
era now. Like
the
everyone's on computers and phones, and we were out there getting dirty and getting muddy, and you know what, you know, if we there's this bubble
Yeah,
now,
but the thing is, like,
and
we were allowed to make mistakes and not have them recorded, but now
yeah,
everybody's got a
that's
video
right.
camera in their phone, and so people
And that,
are conscious and scared about making mistakes or taking a risk or falling over, or, you know, having a bit of a gamble. But when you and I were younger, in our 20s, we could, you know, you can make a mistake, you can make a fool out of yourself, you can learn from it and move on. But now, if you write something on Twitter that's stupid, 20 years from now, you might get sacked from a job, you know, because
mate,
it's there
with
forever.
with texting or anything, like, you know, I'm not a real big fan of texting because
Yeah,
it can be read the wrong way, it can be
yeah,
taken the wrong way, the wrong word, and you don't even mean to, you know, you want to, you're just being simply honest or true to your word, or you're trying to, but things can be taken the wrong way, and then all of a sudden, hang on, didn't mean it like that, like I was really
yeah,
being nice, and you've taken it the wrong way, and now we're in an argument, and then all of a sudden you're trying to explain yourself, and you're chasing the tail going, no, I didn't mean that at all, like literally it was just being
yeah,
taken, one word can be taken in a whole wrong complete context, and then all of a sudden you just go, fuck, I'm not don't even this drama, don't need the drama, so then you just go, oh. And then, yeah, so, you know, I miss the interaction of being able to just talk to people and face to face, or, you know, I've been single 6 years, so I've been on, you know, dating sites, and you just go, you can't even meet people. Like, you don't, like, it's everything's by message, or,
yeah,
you know, you can't. And I try and push the, like, similar to this, like, you know, let's talk and interact by face chat, and like, and if you feel comfortable, let's go and have a coffee, or you know, or let's go and meet and have a coffee, and whatever happens, you know, whatever, you know, but it just doesn't happen, and you lose yourself so much time trying to, how should I say, like, get people to know. How can you get somebody to
yeah.
know you through text? You can't.
Yeah, it's like having a crazy filter or a wall, like a really thick filter of like who you are. You know, you got to try and break through that, and it's just not happening at all. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
always
right.
better face to face. Like that's, yeah, it definitely is. But you never know what might happen. You know, maybe some lovely ladies out there might might see you, you know, on this video now, and see you smile, and your inbox might be crowded like in a few days' time.
You can see me smile now. That's it. I used to get told, like, you know, this is the first time I've ever had like the whole beard journey, and I was growing my hair long from short, and so it's the first time I've seen myself with long hair and no beard,
Yeah,
and I just gone, how ridiculous. Like I just look stupid. And then I go, well,
Is
I'm
that
going
why
to
you
grow my
tied it back? Is that?
Yeah. So I like it with the beard, you know, and that was, so I'm growing my beard back, and I guess everything will just work out when it comes back a bit. But I just, with the shaved beard, I just go, and, you know, because I've put on weights, as I was saying before, and I just look, geez, wow, like, and then you get this baby face and go, geez, I look, you just don't even get into this sense of shock of going, who are you? Like, my kids won't even recognize you.
Yeah, my mum keeps telling me to shave my beard off. She's dead against it. She's an Irish lady, and so she's always saying to the wife, like, oh, come on, Naomi, like, is there nothing you can do? Get this beard shaved off. And I'm like, no, Mum, I'm all right. You know, I'm growing it. I like it. And no, she's dead against it. But I did trim it. You know, I took it back. I sent you that picture yesterday, and I was just like, who is this guy? Like, who the cheeks is too much. So yeah, I grew it back as quickly as I could, you know, and it's...
Well, mate, dedication, commitment. Like, as I said, I take my hat off to you, because any man that can grow a beard with patience and commitment and dedication, because it is not easy. So I take my hat off to you, and you're sticking with it, and you should be able to be you. And that's what it's all about, is it's either giving you a focus and a direction. My mum, I remember saying, you know, long time ago, I was even still at school. So, you know, a man with a beard's hiding something.
Yeah.
And now it's not that. It's a man with a beard is, you know,
showing who he is. He's the opposite.
Showing who he wants to be, but it's giving him a focus too, and pride, and something to be, you know, to be proud of. And you know, whether people want to shave or have a beard, whatever, each to them. Like, as we were saying, you know, it doesn't matter what religion, what color, what culture, what anything, you know, you should be able to be who you are, without judgment, without criticism. You should be able to be you, and, you know, be accepted for being you. It doesn't matter what your beliefs are, and let everyone else accept and be accepted. So it's funny that so many people, whether you don't like you because you got a beard, or whether you don't have a beard or whatever, like, you know, it's not about anything, and it's not about having stuff. It's about being you and being happy in your own life, and about you getting through your own life without criticism, without having, you know, absolutely what you're saying before about, you know, stuff. I was homeless, so, you know, I don't need stuff to be happy. I've got the basics, and, you know, from homeless, it's hard. So having the basics to me is, wow, a relief. And people say, you know, you should be proud of yourself, how far you've come, and, you know, get to see my kids and be a dad, and you know, like, things are looking up and things do get better. You know, I could be homeless, or I could, you know, be fighting to be a dad, or, you know, my kids might live 2 hours away, but, you know, I live on the coast because it's good for my soul, with fighting depression. But you know what? It's really good quality time, bonding time with my kids. You know, there's so much to do when it comes to the coastal life. I can provide. And that was one thing also James was, you know, going to help me with. He was big on spearfishing and snorkeling for abalone and lobster and stuff like that. He was going to teach me all that, so I could teach, you know, we're going to teach our kids together. So we'd never, because of COVID and fires and the weather, the money, and, you know, so much over the past 3-4 years that we couldn't even get an opportunity to do that together. And that's something that I found put me in a downer mood over, especially the past couple of days, that I really didn't want to get off the couch, to be honest. You know, my depression set in, or shock, or, you know, trauma or whatever. But I was talking to someone, you know, I reached out, and we hold on to things that we didn't get to do, or we see ourselves in the future going, yeah, this would be cool. Because I could see James, me and the kids and my grandkids and their grandkids and, you know, Ben, grumpy old men going fishing, you know, like stirring each other up, you know, you know, like, and when you feel a connection there and you feel like there's possibilities and there's hope, then you sort of hang on to it. And when it's gone, it's like
it's the
it's
the
like
loss
the vision
of those things.
Like the vision of your future's just gone.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel for, you know, when somebody has lost a parent in their life and their kids, especially at a young age, I just, you know, as a baby, get this sense of loss. There's something missing. And then when they're at another age, there's something, you know, there's another level where they've lost a mother or a father or a grandparent or somebody important in their life. You know, it's like a life sentence, you know. So to me, if I had successfully lost my life, given into depression, which I almost did, I feel there's like, because I promised myself I'd be the best that I could be, I feel like it's a sense of, I would put myself, my kids, into a sense of torture for life, because they're missing a great dad and they won't have a dad there for the rest of their life and not understanding. But for me, it was about breaking a promise to my kids, because I can't be the best that I can be if I'm dead. So, and when you're in that state, you're sitting on the fence of hell and earth. You're not on earth because you don't belong. Hell doesn't want you because you're too strong to fight. So you can either give yourself to earth or hell. And when there's no place for you in either, which where I sit, is like, because you're too strong for the devil, or, you know, whatever you believe. Like I'm big on Valhalla, so I'm not really a godly person, but, you know, each to their own. And you know, if somebody is a godly person, or, you know, there's so many different religions out there, and it's, to me, you know, it's what you believe in that's important. So, you know, I respect everyone's belief, and they should be entitled to hang on to that. So, to me, whatever you've got to hang on to is important. That whatever keeps you going and keeps you alive, that is important to you, and that should be enough. So, for me, holding on to my kids was enough to get me through.
Yeah.
For having a purpose or a meaning in life. So I'm changing my.
I was just going to say, what you're describing is you have a responsibility, and you have purpose, and you've found meaning in life through your children, which is, you know, having children, it puts so much meaning and responsibility into our lives. It gives us direction, and it enables us to think, right, I'm going to take this set of actions because it's going to be the best outcome for my kids. And like, being a dad, or, you know, having a dad, is such an important position to be in. The, like,
absolutely.
Yeah.
For those kids out there that don't have a male role model, a good male role model, and, you know, or even a good mother figure, you know, it must be hard, because you know, I've been alone. I've been alone a long time, and I chose to be alone outside of my own family, because I felt like, you know, being on a farm, there's rifles, you know, there's a certain amount of toxic that I didn't want to deal with. So family issues and stuff like that. So I excluded myself from my own family, and, you know, so I could be, you know, safe. So I'd rather be homeless than be surrounded in, you know, something that might be able to trigger me into a worse state, and I'd go and shoot myself. You know what I mean? So there's certain steps that you've got to identify yourself to be able to go, right, well, you know, you can't rely on everyone or anyone. Sometimes you just need to learn how to rely on yourself to get through. And to be able to do that is hard, very hard. And when you can do that all on your own, that's a different level of like a warrior sense, you know, when you can do everything. Like they say, a wolf, you know, has his own path, and he's got the strength to get through it. And then the bear, and then the eagle, and everything connects in the one sort of thing. But then you've got other people that need to rely on other people to get you through. But the thing is, need to learn how to survive. And whatever you got to do, whatever you can, whatever it takes. Doesn't matter if you cling on to people. Doesn't matter if you're, whatever it takes, whatever your purpose is, whatever you hang on to get you through, hang on to it tight. So, what may I ask? What, you know, has been helping you through? What helped you?
The biggest turning point in the road was becoming a father, and you know, and when I found out that my fiance at the time was pregnant, we you know, I took a day to think about everything, and you know, then I thought, right, this is it. It's time to step up. And you know, we got married before the baby came, and then you know, I thought, right, what's next? Need a good job, like, because at the time I was trying to do my own startup thing. I was trying to do web design and little bits, and I didn't thought that I didn't want to teach at the time. And then I was fortunate that I was recruited into a good college, you know, with a good package, and it was enough to bring myself and my wife and, you know, 2-week-old baby 5 hours across the country, relocate, and yeah, it was becoming a dad, and basically knowing that I had that responsibility, and now was the time to step up, draw a line under everything that happened before, draw a line under the past, and start building a family and start growing. And that was it. But there's definitely, I always refer to my life as a bit of a roller coaster, with like major highs, major lows, you know, always up and down. But at the minute, you know, thankfully, past like 2 years, it's been mostly just a smooth motorway ride. You know, got rid of all of the negative people in my life who kept dragging me down.
Yeah, that's a huge thing too, isn't it? Yeah.
Unfortunately, some of those are family members, you know, that should know better. So I had to, you know, that's a hard thing as well. When you know, when one of those people, when they're your parents, you know, like my father, you know, had to just draw a line under it. Brother as well, just had to say, you know, that's it, you know, can't interact with you anymore.
How much more peace and content are you when you eliminate those negative and toxic and
infinitely, infinitely
you do
more.
find it's hard to do, and it's timing, and it could cause more drama. But you know, when you block and delete some people out of your life that are no good for you,
it gives you freedom to focus on the good things. Like you know, there are definitely there are days when I feel really guilty, I feel really bad, and I'm close to sending an email, or I'm close to picking up the phone. But you know, I know that I've done that in the past, and it's always led to trouble. So you know, it's always great for a couple of months or for a year, but it always goes tits up. So I think
you seem like such a nice, genuine guy too. And you know what? It's having a big heart and a kind soul, and you know, and being so genuine. It's hard work being a genuine bloke and honest. People want nice, genuine, honest people, but I find that I'm probably too honest and too open. And a lot of people
are
can't
suspicious,
handle that.
aren't they? Yeah, they're suspicious.
Yeah,
of
when
it.
you actually tell the truth, they're still trying to find more behind it. And I'm going, no, that's it. Like literally, I've just gave it to you on a platter, and they still think there's more to it. And I'm just going, why can't it just be that simple? And it is. And then other people are trying to read you like a book, and you go like, I can't even read me. How are you
Yeah.
going to read me like, good luck with that, because, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. Why can't you just go with that? Because there's so much fake in this world. Yeah, I'm just going to quickly keep talking for a second.
Okay. So yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people might not, anybody listening, they won't know that this is the first time that we've ever spoke as well. We don't know each other, and we just made contact recently, a couple of days ago over Instagram, because I saw your story, and I saw what you were going through, and I thought, it will be a good experience for you to talk about it and to work through it, and a good experience for me to talk about the things that I've experienced as well. We can always find that common ground, and I think that we've definitely done that today, and hopefully people watching this will have they will have found something in here that's useful for them.
Yeah. So a big shout out to Sally. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or did I drop out again? So
No,
Sally, she solely got the GoFundMe page going, and
we'll show
so
that.
Ben and I joined in support of that.
We'll show that again.
Sorry.
We'll show that again. So there it is. There's the gun GoFundMe page.
So a big shout out to Sally. She was like a sister, like James was like a brother to her growing up. She's a lovely person, lovely lady, and she got the whole and solely got the page going. She did that all herself, and then Ben from Slicks and I, Slicks Co and I, got on board with that, and supported her GoFundMe page. So, and she's done an amazing job there.
And this is Slick's page, is it? Yeah.
No.
Is this not the right one now?
No. Slicks.co.
Let's have a look. Slicks.co. This one?
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah.
Yep. So you see,
Is this him?
So
is this
he's
the guy?
got amazing kid products. He's been an amazing brother. He's there for me. He's such a lovely guy.
Is this Slicks? This guy?
That's Ben. Yep.
Yep.
Amazing guy. Like seriously, he's just another one that does a lot for charity in the community, donations, and any cause there is. Like he's a brother that would help you out.
He's got
just genuine
beard inspiration and stock and products and apparel. You can check him out as well. He's also got the link here for the GoFundMe page for James's family. So yeah, definitely check that out. Are you happy with how it's gone today? We can wrap it up now if you're happy.
Yeah, mate, I appreciate the invite. Thank you so much. And yeah, get some of Ben's products and help support, because we're putting some stuff up. We've got some plans, and he really does have an amazing range of products there that really are good for the beard. And at the end of the day, that's what James was passionate about. And so Ben and I are giving back, and Sally, and for a good cause. So I shaved my beard off for a good cause, and hopefully we can raise a lot more even after. So this GoFundMe page will close down soon, and then we'll start up a new one. So I just wanted to thank you for, the invite. When you sent me a message, like, wow, really? I've never done anything like this before. So I appreciate you reaching out. Yeah,
no, it's my honor. And thank you so much for sharing your story and James's story. And I hope that this helps. Hope we help raise awareness of the struggle that people can go through. Obviously, it's not just men. There's women as well go through.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you know, for anybody watching, male, female, or undecided, whatever,
even teenagers, like
yeah.
I've lost people, you know, young teens, you know, high teens, and of all ages, all, you know, it can happen to anyone. So
yeah,
yeah,
we'll put links on the YouTube for whether you're in the UK or whether you're in Australia, how to find help with different mental health issues. So all those links will be on YouTube and on the Instagram, and we'll have the GoFundMe page as well. So yeah, thanks very much for everything. It's been an absolute pleasure, and yeah, you know, definitely we'll stay in touch when the next GoFundMe page goes up. Send a link, and I'll help promote that as well.
Mate, thank you. I'll keep in touch regardless. You're a great bloke, and yeah, I appreciate you reaching out. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks, buddy.
Same.
There you go.
G'day, everyone. Yeah, just wanted to a big, huge thank you, Sally, for doing the GoFundMe page and done an amazing job. And, you know, for all those that shared the post, donated to help, you know, James's family, the little baby that's in and out of hospital all the time, and his wife and kids. And, you know, like, seriously, just a huge thank you from me, Ben, and Sally. And, you know, like, wow, the support you've shown and helped, you know, like, you know, we've raised $17,000 so far, and we need a lot more. So keep please sharing and donating. And but thank you so much, you know, for his support so far. And, you know, the amount of people that have reached out and messaged and said you know, these amazing words, and, you know, in support of me shaving off the beard. And just thank you so much from the bottom of my heart.